Welcome to the only newscast of its kind, Proof of Ergo, where we talk all about Ergo, the proof of work cryptocurrency, moving at light speed when you consider all the active projects currently operating on the network. This is episode 7, and this marks a very special time for the Ergo mainnet, which is now 3 years old. Happy Ergoversary to all of you out there. So in just 3 short years, Ergo has exploded into what we have today. We have a decentralized exchange, a stable coin, successful second layer staking on several projects. I think it's fair to say, for being 3 years old, Ergo is certainly the crypto to watch. Now we have a big show for you today. 2 huge developers that are truly shaping the ecosystem. Project lead for anetaBTC and anetaWallet, Frosty, and Ergo core developer Benjamin, all about his projects, TokenJay, Ergopay, and the APIs he's developed. We'll also talk about zero-knowledge proofs. Why are they important? And why they're a perfect fit for Ergo's Sigma protocol. But first, very quickly, if you're watching on YouTube, please hit that thumbs up icon and leave a comment about your thoughts on the show. We're also on all the major podcast platforms, and we see each and every time you tune in, and we're very grateful that you're tuning in. We're also on Twitter at Proof of Ergo, and we would love for you to follow us there as well. Like it or not, we owe our existence as a cryptocurrency, as a community, to Bitcoin. It was the innovation that began the revolution to change the way people transact and think about their money. Our next guest is making it possible to wrap Bitcoin on the Ergo and Cardano networks. The project's called anetaBTC, and project lead Frosty is going to answer a few questions all about it, and I have so many questions. Frosty, thank you for calling in.
Hey, well, thanks so much for having me on. I'm a big fan of the show, and I'm looking forward to today, so thank you.
Awesome. First, fill me in on the project anetaBTC and what it aims to do.
Yeah, so anetaBTC is a Bitcoin wrapping protocol, and it does it completely in a decentralized manner. So basically what it allows you to do is unlock the value of Bitcoin on the Cardano and Ergo networks, and then you can use anetaBTC to unlock these different financial infrastructure and tools that are available on Cardano and Ergo, such as taking out a loan or sending everyday transactions with low transaction fees or trading on a decentralized exchange. So that's what we do at anetaBTC.
Yeah, I was going to ask for some practical examples of why someone would want to do that. I mean, I guess, yeah, taking out a loan or I guess, because I mean, I hold Bitcoin, and especially right now in this market, the last thing in the world I want to do is tie it up in some other network.
Right, yeah, and right now too, as a Bitcoin holder, you really only have 2 options, I would say. You could lock it in something like Celsius, which obviously they're having some problems right now, and some people might not necessarily trust centralized or custodial services. And the other option that you can do is just continue to hold your Bitcoin on the Bitcoin network, and the only foreseeable issue there you might run into is that there's not this variety of financial instruments that can be leveraged. So yeah, it's really nice because what it allows you to do on Cardano and Ergo is leverage these smart contract platforms to really utilize these everyday needs that people have, such as taking out a loan, everyday trading, or even just everyday use, leveraging Ergo with its low transaction fees and being able to use Bitcoin in that way.
Well, how are people supposed to trust that anetaBTC's Bitcoin wrapping technology is secure and going to be there when you want to cash out?
That's right, and that really is the biggest issue too, right? Because even as we're seeing with these custodial services, say Celsius, for example, right now it might be a little bit terrifying for people because they have a lot of their wealth lined up in these services, and then suddenly you go to take it out one day and it's not accessible. So really the most important thing is providing that assurance and security that when you go to take it out, the Bitcoin's still there and you can use it as you'd like in a secure manner. So there's a few things that we have in place. One, I would say, well, it's the protocol is going to be completely open source and audited. So everyone in the community is going to be able to take a look at the smart contracts and hopefully work together with us and even provide feedback in terms of the strength of the protocol and how well it works. And another avenue I would say is with our partners at Kuiper Network. So they were actually the pioneers of Wrapped Bitcoin. They were the lead developers of Wrapped BTC, and they wrote the protocol. So we're also working closely with them to make our protocol as secure as possible. And they're leaders in the DeFi space in Ethereum, and they also built a decentralized exchange, and it's actually what's called the DMM, a dynamic market maker on Ethereum called KyberSwap, which I think they were the first ones to actually implement that idea. And to this day, all of their protocols haven't faced any hacks or any security exploits, despite what seemed to be somewhat common on Ethereum. So we're very happy to be working with them. And then lastly, and something I'm most excited about is the use of the Neta Liquidity Fund, which is our 100% owned community fund. And just last week, actually, at this point, we made our first decent sized Bitcoin purchase of 2 Bitcoin. And what we're going to do with that is sort of use that as the first Bitcoin to ensure the security of the network. So, even when you look at the Bitcoin blockchain, for example, the big reason that it has a lot of the value that it does is because it's been almost 13 years now, and still to this day, the network hasn't gone down. So a part of the value is the time that it's able to remain secure without being exploited. And that's our goal with anetaBTC, is that especially to prove to these large Bitcoin holders, hey, we have this Bitcoin too that we're using on the platform, and we've been using it for X amount of weeks or X amount of months or X amount of years. And still to this day, we've been able to prove the security of the protocol. So those are some of the measures that we're taking in place.
It's going to be all NFT based?
What do you mean by that?
I mean, like the wrapped Bitcoin is going to be like an NFT that has the metadata that says, yes, you've placed one whole Bitcoin in the system, and this is your representation of that.
It'll actually be a fungible token. It won't be exactly NFT.
Right.
But similar, yeah. And it'll have some ticker acronym. Wrapped Bitcoin is denoted on a centralized exchange as lowercase w, all caps BTC, and we'll have something similar to that, and probably 2 versions of that, because we'll have one to denote it and distinguish it on Ergo, and then when we go live on Cardano, a different way to distinguish it there.
Awesome. Now, not asking if you ever would, but rather, is it even possible for anetaBTC to pull a Solana and start freezing accounts?
Yeah, absolutely not. And, I guess the closest thing to that would be, with these decentralized vault operators and these people that are basically overseeing the Bitcoin on the Bitcoin network when you're wrapping it to bring it over to Ergo, if they wanted to, essentially, they could take the Bitcoin. However, in order to even be a vault operator, you need to over collateralize it with about 110% of the Bitcoin that's being operated on. So it would be extremely a bad idea for them to do that, because then the person that is wrapping their BTC would be reimbursed at a beneficial rate.
All right. Let's talk about my favorite topic here, the wallet your team is working on. It's basically a fork of the Ergo mobile wallet that supports offline transaction signing using a mobile phone in airplane mode. And of all the hardware wallets I've used, this offers the best user experience, hands down, but there's nothing out there that supports Bitcoin, Cardano, and Ergo. You're about to change all that with the anetaWallet. What led you to take this project on, and what features are on the roadmap?
Yeah, I'm very excited for anetaWallet. And, I think a key component of, one, obviously it starts with the wrapping protocol, but then realizing that there's a lot of vertical integration with different infrastructure that's also needed to bring this alive. And I think anetaWallet was a good example of that, because along with having the wrapping protocol, another top priority is to provide the best user experience. And I think the best way to do that is to have one secure, safe, user-friendly wallet where you can do all of your wrapping from that wallet. So you can send it to you can send your Bitcoin to a smart contract in the wallet. And then also when your anetaBTC is minted, can then get sent back to your wallet. So that was sort of the idea behind that for what we wanted to do. And right now it's just compatible with Ergo. And right now we're working on Bitcoin integration, and then after that Cardano. So And it starts with that. It's on the mobile wallet, but as you sort of hinted to, then in the roadmap, it doesn't stop there. We'd like to make it as seamless as possible on all fronts. So we'd like to have a desktop version. And even now we're starting to look into a DApp wallet where hopefully we can do some cool things there as well.
Now, I know you're going to hate this question. I'm going to ask it anyways. The roadmap says to expect anetaWallet to drop sometime in Q3. How's that timeline looking?
It looks good right now. I mean, there's two different aspects of it because we have one developer working on porting over the iOS version or porting over the Android version to iOS. And I actually just spoke with them yesterday, and that's about 85% done. So we're thinking that should be ready in the next couple of weeks. And then the Ergo, the Android version is also going well. We're working on some things with the Electrum API. And yeah, it looks like everything is on pace to be ready by Q3. So we're really looking forward to that. And yeah, it's going to be so exciting to have Bitcoin and Ergo on the same wallet.
Oh, yeah, you're telling me. Are there plans to incorporate Ergopay?
Yes, definitely. So Ergopay is holistically speaking, I would say something that's very much on our radar that we want to incorporate for the long term. There's recently there's someone working on an Ergo POS system right now and working on ways to integrate that with the wallet. So, and by POS I mean point of sale. So yeah, long term we have a lot of plans, but you know, for the time being, we think it's best to focus on the protocol and focus on the wallet, but it's absolutely something on our radar. And, you know, I think somewhere in the next 6 to 12 months, we'll probably be ready to share more information on what we have planned to that. But we're very excited for that. You know, I think a cool thing about our team is that while we're very focused on the number one priority, which is the wrapping protocol, we think it's really important to look ahead always long term, you know, for 2-3 years down the line. And we definitely expect Ergopay to be in the plans.
Now, normally I try to keep these questions Ergo-centric, but there's not, to my knowledge, that many projects with both Cardano and Ergo in its crosshairs. Can you talk about your stake pool and the airdrops you recently did?
Yeah, so we do have a stake pool. We actually have two stake pools, neta1 and neta2. And that's a part of our ISPO and our LISO. And basically with that, 90% of the added rewards that are generated go to the community fund and 10% goes to R&D. And we actually just launched something pretty similar on Ergo, but instead of you know, using the proof of stake mechanism, it's done through mining Ergo. But yeah, you know, we're really keen on incorporating both ecosystems as much as possible. I'm a decently long-time community member of both Cardano and Ergo. And, you know, our whole team is very passionate about both the technologies, and we think there's a place in the world for both the technologies. So, so I know the one thing you mentioned was the stake pool. What was the other thing that you had asked?
About that, you were doing some pretty cool airdrops.
Yes, the airdrop. So, yeah, that was, you know, we think it's really important especially for a project like us that's, you know, really keen on including the community and the success of the project. You know, we thought the best way was to airdrop tokens to really, you know, bring along the community with us. So we did a good bit of airdrops. I think 5% of the total supply, almost. Wow. I want to say it's about 100 million tokens, both across Neta and CNeta. I think at one point we had the record for like largest airdrop on Ergo, so that was cool. And then on Cardano, we're doing yeah, similar things, and even, you know, some of them happened quicker, and then it's cool because, you know, our community was super patient. I think we actually did a New Year's airdrop surprise back in January, and literally just last week, finally they were able to claim these tokens through TosyDrop. And TosyDrop's another cool example of, you know, this, or at least I think it's a cool example of the vertical integration, you know, because when you have this wrapping protocol and you want to distribute these tokens to both your community members on both Cardano and Ergo, it's really nice to have token dispensing infrastructure where you can do that seamlessly. So yeah, that's another example of something I'm looking forward to. And yeah, I mean, I really love our community, and the feedback that we get and the dynamic that we have with how we work together, and how they really drive the growth of this project. So yeah, I'm looking forward to keep working together with everyone.
Cool. There's a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu connection to anetaBTC. You've heard you discuss this in other interviews, and I'm just dying to know, do you think your team coming together this way was by happenstance or by fate?
It's hard to say exactly what made it happen, but I'm damn sure happy that it did happen. I'll tell you that, because I just feel so lucky to be able to work with this team, because especially with this dynamic that you said of BJJ, because I think generally the people that are involved with martial arts generally have a long-term horizon with just like their life, but then also applying it to this project. And I just think it's a really good analogy for life, because a lot of times there really are there's ups and downs with every journey, but with something that BJJ has taught me, and I think the rest of the team, is that when things aren't going well, all you can really do is just keep showing up and keep putting the work in, and over the long term the results will show. So I think it's super cool right now too, because obviously it seems like the market is at a standstill, and I know some people are feeling maybe a bit down with just how everything is going in the market right now. I mean, it's crazy times. We already hinted at Celsius a bit, and then we have VCs like Three Arrows Capital, who's just defaulted. But for us, our approach really doesn't change. We know that we have to show up every day and put the work in and just keep working hard. So I think times like this is really when sort of like having that mindset and that approach becomes the most valuable, because I think it's easy to get down on yourselves when times are tough, but for us it's just about consistency, and we're just going to keep showing up to battle and making it out.
Yeah, it's a great work ethic, especially in this market. So you're working to wrap Bitcoin on both Cardano and Ergo. You're creating a wallet to support all three cryptocurrencies. I'm curious, how do you think Cardano and Ergo are going to interact as we move forward?
That's one of the things I'm most excited about. It. My hope is that hopefully we can be pioneers in that aspect. I hope that we're not the only project that is both on Cardano and Ergo, and I think other projects in the future will realize the benefits of being on both blockchains. I think our partners Ergodex as well are preparing to. Well, actually, they are. They're building on both Cardano and Ergo. So, I think it's only something that's going to gain more popularity, especially as Ergo continues to grow. I think there's a lot of benefits to being on both blockchains. Specifically, I think fundamentally it just comes down to the consensus mechanism. There's pros and cons to both proof of stake and proof of work, but together you kind of get the best of both worlds. So, fundamentally too, I think what we're seeing is, I think the EUTXO model is really shining right now, and I think people are starting to see that. So there's just so much harmony between the two ecosystems, and hopefully it only gains more popularity. But looking back, we're so happy that we're building on both blockchains, and the harmony between the two ecosystems, and we're really looking forward to the future.
Yeah, I can't wait for the Vassal hard fork and all the projects that are waiting to just drop, on all the UTXO projects waiting to drop. After that, it'll be quite incredible to see. Project lead with anetaBTC and Cardano stake pool operator and anetaWallet developer, quite possibly the most exciting project for a seamless hardware wallet experience. Frosty, thank you so much for calling in today. Thank you for what you're doing, your team is doing, and I would love to talk with all of you. Have your whole team on the show here in the future.
Yeah, that'd be great. I really appreciate that, and thanks so much for all you do. I think Proof of Ergo is a really cool thing that you guys have going on, and it's just such an honor to be on the show. So thank you so much, and I look forward to being on soon.
Ergo's Sigma protocols are excellent for creating composable zero-knowledge signatures. Zero-knowledge cryptography offers many powerful use cases in blockchain, decentralized finance, and decentralized autonomous organizations. Not only are zero-knowledge operations secure, they're also private. Consider this example. Say you find a smartphone on the ground in the park somewhere. Someone nearby says it's theirs, but you have doubts. They don't want to give you the code to open their phone as it's kind of private information. So the solution ends up being you hold out the phone, you close your eyes, and the owner of the phone taps in the code without you seeing a thing. You open your eyes and ownership has been proven without any information being compromised. Now, this is a simple example of zero-knowledge proofs, and Ergo's Sigma protocols can create them natively. In other words, a group of users can get together and create an address with specific conditions. 5 users, say, could create an address that any 3 of them would need to sign to make a transaction. Other conditions could be added that could be even more complicated. Say a startup consisting of 7 people. They could create an address whereby the CEO and the CFO have got to both sign in order to release funds. They could also make it so any 5 key holders can sign a transaction as a sort of insurance policy if either the CEO or CFO happen to mysteriously die in India. We're going to include a link to a video in the description that explains very succinctly what's going on with zero-knowledge proofs. It's only 2.5 minutes. We'll also include a few other documents or blog posts that you can investigate if you'd like to learn more. With the current bear market and subsequent failure of Terra Luna, stablecoins have been the topic of conversations in many financial and crypto circles. And with all the insolvency and failures happening to these protocols, it's exciting to see continued development with Ergo's stablecoin, SigUSD, and AgeUSD, truly algorithmic stablecoin protocol. Our next guest, Benjamin, is an Ergo core developer by day, and in his spare time continues to develop useful projects on the Ergo network. He's created a service called TokenJay that lets you bypass smart contract web portals. And in the case of the AgeUSD protocol, this allows users to save money on minting and transaction fees. And if that wasn't impressive enough for you, he's also developed Ergopay, a dApp connector that doesn't rely on web browsers, but can connect dApps and wallet apps on any platform in a decentralized way. Benjamin, thank you so much for calling in today.
Yes, thanks. Glad to be here.
First, let's get right into it. What is TokenJay and how does it work?
Yeah, TokenJay is a service that I've created that has not a single goal. It is my spare time project for problems that I'm seeing on the Ergo network. Because I'm an end user and a developer, it also has solutions for developers and for end users. And for example, the last edition that I've made that is targeting developers is a payment portal for some developers that don't want to get deep into how to implement transactions on Ergo, but just want to accept payments in Ergo. They can use this service on TokenJay with a higher level API. For end users, the last edition was a peer-to-peer or person-to-person escrow service where you can sell a token to a named person when you've made a deal. Then you can use the TokenJay service in a trustless way to sell this token for an amount of ERGs that you've negotiated before.
Wow, and so this is more of a protocol than it is a specific product, is that correct?
Yeah, it's different products. For example, the escrow service, then there's an AgeUSD swap service, and more will come when I see the need for more.
Very cool. Now, how did you get the idea for all this?
Usually the ideas are just on my daily work for Ergo. I'm a core developer and developing the Ergo Wallet app. And when doing this, sometimes I stumble upon user requests. For example, the escrow service was a user request that I've seen many times that we don't have such a service on Ergo. Or I monitor the developer support channels, and when there are some questions constantly coming up, then I'm thinking about how to solve it.
Awesome. Now, currently with TokenJay, you can swap directly to the AgeUSD bank, which bypasses the fees of the Sigma USD site. Now, not surprisingly, a few large whales have been taking advantage of this, and I'm curious, do you see maybe a cat and mouse game between developers of smart contracts and their web interfaces with services like TokenJay?
I don't see a cat-mouse game here, but some competition. I've created the HUSD swap on TokenJay more as an example demonstration how the thing can work when a website uses Ergopay to do it, because it has some advantages over the way the Sigma USD website is doing it. When you make a swap on the Sigma USD side, then you have to send your tokens or your Erg amount to an intermediate contract, and then a bot actually makes the transaction that works with the HUSD bank. When you use TokenJay, then TokenJay directly prepares the transaction for you and sends it to the wallet application. And then you can sign this transaction and the wallet application submits it to the Ergo network. There's no step between you and the HUSD bank. And this has the big advantage then when something goes wrong, which can happen with the HUSD swap, for example, when the exchange rate changes while you are doing this transaction, then when you do it on TokenJay, simply the whole transaction fails and nothing happens, while we have regularly on the Sigma USD side that some people have stuck funds and have to refund it. And so I think the real advantage here on TokenJay is the direct exchange. There's also some fees taken on TokenJay. They are just a bit lower than on the Sigma USD side. But I hope the main motivation for users to use it is not the lower fee, but the different way it works.
Yeah, that is so cool. I mean, I've got some SIG RSV and some SIG USD, and I definitely will be using that service. I got to figure it out. Now, you also developed Ergopay, which is a pretty huge project. Maybe you can explain what this service does.
Yeah, Ergopay is not directly a service. It's a protocol, a standard protocol for dApps and wallet applications. It is a standard that we defined that describes how dApps can prepare a transaction and transfer it to wallet applications so that the user can review this transaction and then sign it, and the wallet application will submit it to the network. So it is a dApp connector, like many people know the web dApp connector, but in difference to the web dApp connector, it can work with every kind of wallet application, not only the wallet application and the mobile wallet application, but also desktop wallet application. And a main goal was that it even can make the transaction go from the browser on your desktop to your wallet application on mobile, so that you can prepare it within the browser and sign it on your phone.
So this is an API?
It is a definition of an API. Yes, exactly. How the dApp can, what APIs the dApp has to provide, and the wallet application will contact the dApp and fetch the data.
Awesome. So it's already working. So really the onus is on the developer to take advantage of this. Is that correct?
Yes, and we have a bit of a chicken-egg problem here, was my thinking. Ergopay is finished and integrated in the wallet application since January, and not many dApps make use of it. Maybe it is because most developers know the MetaMask-like approach with a web extension wallet, and have no idea how this different system is working. That's also a problem that I want to solve with TokenJay. It serves as an example how transactions with Ergopay can be made.
Cool. Now, you've also developed 2 token APIs. Who are these for and what can they do?
The token APIs and TokenJay are targeted to developers. It is a price API and a verification API. So the price API is easy to understand, and you probably know a usage for it. The wallet application, the mobile wallet application, shows token prices, and these are fetched from TokenJay's price API. But every developer can use it, and before this API existed, there was no API to fetch the current SIG ASV price from. So this is meant for developers to use, and the token verification API is an API to check a token with its ID and name if it is genuine. Everyone can mint new tokens on Ergo, and everyone can just go and mint a new SIG-USD or NETA token. It's up to the user to check if the token ID is correct, and this is automated by this token verification API. It is also used in the mobile wallet application. When you have SIG USD, then a little check mark is on that token. And if you get a scam SIG USD token, then a little exclamation mark will be shown.
It's amazing. Lead developer for both TokenJay and Ergopay and the token APIs. Benjamin, I am so impressed with your work. Thank you so much for calling in. I would love to talk again in a few months about some of these projects.
Thanks to you.
We've included some links to more Ergopay and TokenJay information in the description of this newscast, so be sure to check that out. All right, fellow Ergonauts, it's been a pleasure bringing you all this information. Is there something you'd like to see on an upcoming show? Are you an Ergo developer and want some press on your project? Well, hit us up in the comments or on Twitter @Proof of Ergo. We love all your suggestions and carefully consider each one. Don't forget to like and subscribe, everyone. I'm James Kever. Thank you so much for watching Proof of Ergo. We will see you next show.